Good morning, boys and girls. This is Miss Marche, and today I want to read to you Chapter 6, The Beginning of Happiness. Well, I'll read aloud today. Before I begin reading, I want to recap what Chapter 5 was about. How many remember what Chapter 5 was about? I'll tell you the chapter title. Chapter 5's chapter title was To Each His Own. Yes. So in Chapter 5, we remembered that Julian was working really hard in the yard after his father said, "Guess what? I have some work for you to do." Gloria came to check up on him, and she was really shocked that he actually had all this work to do. But in Julian's heart, this is not what he really wanted, right? But he realized that the more he fibbed, things actually didn't work out for him. And Gloria was like, "Well, to each his own. If this is what you want to do, I won't judge you. But guess what? She thinks it's silly regardless." And Julian started to feel very exhausted and not too happy. So in Chapter 6, I'm wondering if this might be the chapter where he begins to acknowledge that maybe fibbing isn't the best thing to do, because it doesn't always get you what you want. And he probably might value his happiness a lot better. And maybe he might tell the truth to someone. I'm not sure who. But before we can begin reading, I want to introduce you to some vocabulary words. Ached. It's like a feeling of hurt in your body. You ever hurt like your muscles ached? It's like a constant pain. Suffering. Pain that you have to work through. Whether it's emotional, physical. Amazed. That means you're greatly surprised. So let's begin reading Chapter 6. The Beginning of Happiness. "Julian!" my mother said. "Julian!" she shouted. My head jerked up. My eyes jumped open like electric eye doors. "Julian," my mother said, "if you nod one more time, your chin is going to make a crash landing in your cream corn." So I'm imagining Julian is very tired. You know when you're extremely tired and your head begins to nod? Yeah, so he's extremely tired from all that work. "Julian is tired," Huey said. I was amazed. Huey sounded like he cared. He wasn't sounding like a brother. He was sounding like a friend. "If you can't eat any more," my mother said, "a nice hot bath might relax your muscles." All right, before I go on to the next page, I want to stop here. How many of you notice playful language here? Yes. I noticed it right here in the second sentence. My head jerked up, but more so, my eyes jumped open like electric doors. What do you think the author wants you to understand from that phrase? Because your eyes don't jump up like electric doors, but what does the author want you to visualize? That Julian's eyes were like really wide, right? And they opened up really fast. So I jotted about that. Julian's eyes were wide and opened really fast. You ever seen electric doors, like you go into the supermarket or like Staples and the doors go up open as soon as you walk close to it? Yeah, so that's how I imagine Julian's eyes. Excellent. Let's keep reading. "Okay," I said. It sounded wonderful. It sounded like the next best thing to a year in the hospital. "I'll put lots of bubbles in the water, and I'll get you a nice big clean towel," my mother said. "You just wait till the water's ready." I listened to the sound of the water running into the tub. Then I ached out of my chair and pained my way to the bathroom. The bathroom was steamy and full of clouds. My mother helped me out of my shirt the way she used to when I was little. When I got into the tub, she scrubbed my back for me with a washcloth. It felt very good. All right, let's pause here for a second. I'm imagining, and not even imagining, I'm already developing a trait for mom. What kind of trait would you use to describe his mom? Based on what she's doing right now in the picture or in the story, based on what she said, and based on how she's thinking, what kind of trait would you use to describe mom? I'll give you about 2 seconds to think about it. Or look into your blue reading folder to find a trait. Go right ahead. Alrighty, how many of you were thinking that mom is such a caring and thoughtful person. Yeah, so I'm going to jot that down. Character trait, mom, caring, and thoughtful. Because look, she set up this bubble bath for Julian because she know how he feels. She also said, you know what? I'll put lots of bubble in the water and I'll get you a nice big clean towel. So she's really trying to make Julian feel better. So I'm wondering if Julian is going to really tell her how he feels, or is he still going to keep it a secret? Because he didn't tell Gloria, he didn't tell his dad, and he sure didn't tell Huey. But now mom is in the picture. So let's think about that. Let's continue to read. Dad told me he's sorry you're not getting time to learn to ride Gloria's bike, my mom said. That's okay, I said. Of course I want to learn, but it can wait. Also, my mom said, Dad is very proud of you. He likes the way you stick to what you say you'll do and the way you work hard. He said you did a very good job with everything. He did? He is? Really? I said. I started to feel very happy and proud about all the work I was doing. But then I remembered how sore I was. I remembered I didn't feel good. I felt bad. Dad is pushing me too hard, I said. He's making me suffer. I hope my mother would say, I'll get him to let up on you. I'll get him to give you less work. But she didn't. She just rubbed my neck with the washcloth some more and smiled. Sometimes, she said, suffering is the beginning of happiness. She helped me out of the bathtub and helped me to dry off. I want to pause here. And I want you to think. Right now, how does Julian feel after all his hard work he did yesterday with his dad? How does Julian feel after all his hard work? I'll give you about 2 minutes to think about this, and then I'm going to jot about it. How does he really feel? What is he noticing? Yes, all right, let's turn it back to it. So Julian is feeling really achy, right? And he does not feel too good. But he realizes that Dad is proud of all his hard work. Good. I noticed that Mom said suffering is the beginning of happiness. Do you think that Julian will learn that lesson at the end of the story? And he probably won't tell fibs again? I'm not sure, but let's keep reading to find out what Mom really means by that. Let's go here. I'm here. When I had my pajamas on, she walked upstairs with me and tucked me in bed. The way she did when I was little. I wiggled my toes. They ached. Suffering isn't happiness, I said. Suffering is the opposite of happiness. Yes, my mom said, but sometimes we all have to suffer a little to do things that are worth doing, to do the things that really make us happy. Things like earning money? I said. Yes, or simple things like telling the truth, my mom said. For example, I wonder what you truly think about bicycles. So mom has an idea about something. Maybe she'll get Julian to tell the truth. Yes, let's keep reading. Usually, I wouldn't have told, but I was very tired. If things kept on the way they were, I thought I'd be the first boy ever to be declared a national disaster. You really want to know? I asked. Yes. You won't tell anybody? Not even Dad? I won't tell anybody. Not even Dad. The truth is, I don't like them. I thought you didn't like them, my mom said very softly. I looked at her face. She didn't seem to have a bad opinion of me for not liking bicycles. So here we are. I'm going to jot. I really think right here is a good place to jot. And I jotted that Julian decides to tell his mother the truth, right? Because she realized his mom didn't have a bad opinion of him for not liking bicycles. So I'm wondering that Julian, I want to jot that Julian was always embarrassed because he did not like bicycles and didn't want anyone else to know. Right? So he was embarrassed that he didn't like bicycles or didn't know how to ride bicycles. And he didn't know how to tell anyone, right? Yes, that is true. All right, let's keep reading. It did feel good to tell the truth. Once I began to tell the truth, it seemed like it almost had a taste like some really delicious food to chew on, that I wanted to have more and more of it in my mouth. I hate bicycles, I said. I hate the tubes, the tires, the wheels, the spokes, the pedals, the chain, the fenders, the handlebars, and the reflectors and the lights. And just the beginning. And that's just the beginning, I said. So here's he confessing to his mom all the things he hates about the bicycle. So I'm wondering if he felt more comfortable with mom to tell the truth. And he wasn't so comfortable with anyone else. I think I'm going to jot that down. Julian feels very comfortable with mom to tell her everything about why he does not like bicycles. Yes. This is interesting. Let's keep reading. What's the rest? My mother said. The rest is, I hate the idea of falling. You might not fall, my mother said. Then again, I might, I said. That will be suffering. My mom said. She smiled again. Then she leaned down and put her arms around me and gave me a hug so big it hurt, but it felt good all the same. Wow, this is really interesting. How does Julian feel after he tells his mom the whole truth? I want you to think about that. How does he feel after he tells his mom the whole entire truth? What did he say? Or what was he thinking? I want you to think about that. I'll give you about 1 minute. How does he really feel after he tells his mom the whole truth? All right, let's turn it back. So I'm going to jot about this. Julian feels, how does he feel? He feels so good inside after he told his mom the whole truth about why he does not like bicycles. Julian is really afraid of falling because he feels that if he falls, he's going to suffer. And suffering is like a pain that you go through, right? Remember that word? Let's do our end of chapter jot. What happened in this chapter? Let's jot it down. Julian was not feeling too well, and his mom made a nice bubble bath for him. He decided to tell her the whole truth about how he feels about bicycles. Now, Mom understands Julian's feelings. Yeah, so this is great. All right. Next up, we're going to read chapter 7. Keep this thought in mind. I'll see you soon. Bye.